Today I want to continue my series about Tbilisi, where I reside right now, and today I want to talk about the apartment, how to find here apartment, what different types of apartment could be, different areas in Tbilisi. My name is Dmitry, I'm traveling for the last 3 years and I'm talking about remote work and travel on this channel, so if you're new here, please subscribe on my channel, it's gonna be a lot of interesting videos here. So first of all, let's talk about the areas. I think the best areas to rent an apartment here, especially for expats here, is Vake, Vera, Sololaki and partly Saburtalo. Let's talk about each one of them. First of all, Vake is the most modern area here in Tbilisi. It has a lot of modern buildings, with the glass walls. It's kind of like a posh district here in Tbilisi. It's very nice, I really like it. Sometimes people criticize it about don't be so authentic as the different areas of Tbilisi, and people are kind of more posh there, but yeah, I think it's fine. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's really nice area and we're planning to move there once our lease here ends. Next area is Vera. I think Vera is kind of from the both sides, from the modern world and from more authentic Tbilisi vibe. It has both. It's a really nice area. There are a lot of places to eat there, and the buildings are different. There is a modern building and the old buildings as well. It's really close to Vake, so you can go walk there, and also at the same time it's kind of close to the old town, so you can go there. It's kind of like mixed both from the both worlds. I know many expats live there in Vera, and so I would definitely recommend this area as well. The next one is Sololaki. Sololaki, in my opinion, is more old town vibe area. At the same time, it has a lot of cafes, a lot of bars, nightclubs there, so it's kind of vibrant area in that sense. And they also have this famous Freedom Square, one of the most famous square here in Tbilisi. They have one of the best shopping mall there, so yeah, it's really nice and it's really close to old town. If you like this vibe, if you like more cafes, I think Sololaki is great, but for me personally, I like more calm areas, so we lived there for first month in Tbilisi in Airbnb, but for long term we rent outside of this area, more closer to residential areas. But Sololaki is still pretty good, especially if you're into that vibe. Also, I would totally recommend check Saburtalo, but Saburtalo is huge. It's one of the biggest districts here in Tbilisi. You need to really check the area where your building exactly located, where you're planning to rent, because it's so different. We live in Saburtalo, but it's a really separated part a little bit. It's called GK neighborhood or GK house. It's kind of like small neighborhood. It was built by Estonian construction firm, I guess, and it has like 5 or 6 floors, red brick buildings, and it's really nice, especially for families. If you're with kids, it's perfect. We have playgrounds here, and it's really calm and it's a little bit closed with the security guards, etc. Yeah, I would totally recommend to check this neighborhood. But Saburtalo has a lot of things. They have a lot of modern buildings, a lot of rundown buildings, so you need to check each of them, but Saburtalo is like one of the most popular place to live among expats and among locals as well. Another famous areas here is Chugureti. I think Chugureti is nice. It's also quite close to Old Town, but I think in that sense being close to Vera is better. But you can check the Chugureti as well. It's located on the eastern part of the river. It has a really nice shopping street, it has parks, it has a football stadium there. Another 2 districts that I've seen highly recommended by expats is Avlabari and Isani. Avlabari is also a little bit closer to Old Town, and Isani is a little bit further on the south part of Tbilisi. I think Isani is a little bit too far away. It doesn't have much to offer, I think, and yeah, you probably have to always go in the city center to get some nice cafes and that kind of stuff. But yeah, they have also modern buildings there, so you can check it out. I didn't consider this area for myself, but also you can check different districts which I haven't been yet, or I've never heard of them, but I know people live all over the Tbilisi, and it's quite a compact city, so you usually, if you even live far away, you can get a taxi for cheap price and 10 or 15 minutes subway, and you are in the city center, so it's quite nice, and you can even walk around the city and reach some places by walking. Now let's talk about types of apartments which Tbilisi has to offer. I think it's pretty standard in my terms, because we have the same in my country. Apartments from about 40 square meters until 100 and 120 square meters apartments. They usually have 1 or 2 or sometimes, but rarely, 3 bedrooms. They usually have a living room and the kitchen separated, but of course there are some studios here as well, so you can find that type of apartments. They usually list them on websites as a amount of rooms, rarely amount of bedrooms, like it's usually done in the US, for example. So if it's 3 rooms apartment, it means it's have living room and 2 bedrooms usually. Kitchen doesn't count. They have houses here, like detached houses here, but I've never considered myself living in a house in Tbilisi, so I don't know much about this, but yeah, you can check. I know there are houses there, maybe further away from the city in the suburbs. I know some people live there. It's usually more expensive than apartments, so I would recommend check the apartments. Usually better check in the Airbnb for 2 weeks or a month. Check the different areas, check the apartment, take your time, and then rent for longer terms if you want to stay here. The apartment cost is starting from probably $200, and for $200 you find kind of old furnished apartment in not the best areas, but from $300 per month you already find really nice places, maybe not so big. We, for example, rent for $400 per month, and it's huge apartment in this GK neighborhood I told you about, and this is a 100 square meter apartment. It doesn't have really nice modern furniture, but it's fine. It's totally fine for us, but it has a lot of space. We have 2 bedrooms, we have a huge living room, and it's really nice to have all this space for $400 per month. If we're talking about the Baki districts, the prices there are starting from $500 for nice apartments, and could have like $600 and $700 per month apartments there. But of course you can find the apartment for any price here, because I've seen the apartments for $1,500 and for $2,000 per month. It's usually a huge apartments with really nice furniture there, and the very modern buildings with different utilities there. So yeah, you could find a really expensive apartment if you're into that here in Tbilisi as well. The renting agreement here is pretty standard, at least for me. I don't know how it works in your country. Just an agreement in the several pages. It usually has all the requirements from you or from your host. You can ask for agreement in English. Our has 2 tables in it, 2 columns, one in a Georgian language and another one in English, and yeah, you just sign it with your host. Agreement usually goes for 6 months minimum. Less than 6 months it's going to be complex to find an apartment. They like to have agreement for a year, but you can easily find for 6 months. We rent for 6 months and we didn't have much problems, but you're probably gonna have talk about this with your host, because some of them want for 1 year. Now I will show you the website which we personally used for finding an apartment. You can choose the language here. It's called ss.g. Here you can pick the property type, flat. For example, we want a new building, we want it for rent, and you can pick the price range here, space or amount of the rooms, for example 1 or 2. And the most important is location. You can pick any district here, and you can even put the street here. When we were looking the apartment in our complex, we just put the street there and it was very convenient. Here you can check this picture, so you don't get the empty advertised. And here's listings. You can click on the buttons here to check the photos, and here is a small description. And for example, you like this place, you go inside. Here is a price, but be aware that price sometimes in US dollars and sometimes in lari. They're back in the listings, and here you can choose. So here is a total area. Here you can see all the photos in the bigger, and there's like newly renovated, new building. Sometimes you can see it's in the Russian, and yeah, some of the things also in Georgian as well, but the description from the host, for example, could be auto-translated, so it's for apartment for rent in premium complex I6. It's probably a Vakia. Here is also some auto assessment of the price. So here is a $500, and I think it's a good offer. Yeah, I think so. It's actually a good apartment. So yeah, this is a website. You can see here a number, and you can write in WhatsApp to host. Here's the internal chat on this website, but I didn't get any luck using it. WhatsApp here is pretty popular. Just write to WhatsApp, some agents can answer you that way. The process is pretty easy. You call the agent, they said if it's available or not. Unfortunately, not all the agents speak English, so when you call, just ask if you speak English. If you have a friend who speaks Russian or Georgian, you can ask them to help, because they speak Russian or Georgian, of course, much better. But English is fine too. I think many agents already speak English because they work with expats a lot. So yeah, just call and ask, do you speak English or not? Usually you meet with the agent, they show you the apartment, and if you like it, you meet with the host and agents and you sign the agreement. You pay usually for first and the last months, and you don't pay for agency. It was pretty good for me, because in Russia you have to pay to agent by yourself in addition to the rental, but here the host is paying for agent. So yeah, you usually pay for first and the last months. Last months you won't be paying when you're gonna be checking out. There are also another way to find an apartment. I know some people use Facebook groups. There are many of them to find an apartment. There are Telegram groups as well, but I would recommend to stick with this ss.g. There are also another websites which is myhome.g and place.g, but I think the listings is pretty similar among these websites, so I would recommend to focus on just one website. In terms of checking inside the apartment, I don't see any like differences between Tbilisi and other cities. Just check whatever you usually want to have in your apartment, like TV, air conditioning I would recommend, because the summer could be really hot in here, the heating, the washing machine, the kitchen appliances, of course bed, table if you want to work from home. You better to check elevators, because not all the buildings have elevators, and if they have, usually can ask how it works, because some of the elevators in Tbilisi require the payment. In the modern building it could be a card, which you usually pay a monthly amount on, and in the old building you have to insert the coins inside the elevator. It's interesting. I would also recommend to check where the apartment located, because sometimes it's on the hill, so to reach your building you need to climb up on the hill, and sometimes not so convenient, especially in Sabortalo. There's like building on all the levels. Sometimes you just go and you see the third floor of the building. So yeah, this is a kind of important thing here in Tbilisi. Another thing I would check if the bug nets, because sometimes, for example, in autumn we have some bugs inside, so we ask the host to install the bug nets, and it's perfect. So I would check this as well. It could be also mosquitoes in the summer. Yeah, apart from that, nothing really that's special. So I will wish you good luck with finding your apartment. I think that's it. Maybe I forgot something, so feel free to ask me in the comments. I would be glad to help you with finding your own place here in Tbilisi. I hope it was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe to my channel for future videos about Tbilisi and other stuff related to remote work and traveling. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.